Everyone knows that the Japanese builds great motorcycles, but Germany builds machines that hit harder, last longer, and outthink the road in ways most riders never expect. From forgotten legends of the past to modern monsters that leave Japan playing catch-up, and yes, if I say German motorcycle, you probably think the BMW, but they're not the only German brand crafting legends on two wheels. These 13 German motorcycles are built for power, endurance, and pure road authority. And number one, it's the ADV king every Japanese rival has tried to dethrone and failed. Number 13, Horex VR6 Roadster. The Horex VR6 Roadster isn't just rare, it's ridiculously exclusive. A hand-built V6 monster from Germany that delivers smoothness, power, and prestige in one jaw-dropping package. Forget the mass-market machines, this one plays in its own league. At the heart of the VR6 is a 1,218 cubic centimeter engine, a six-cylinder V layout with a tight 15-degree angle. That's right, 6 cylinders packed into the footprint of a 4. It cranks out 161 horsepower and nearly 95 pound-feet of torque, more than enough to slingshot this luxury cruiser past most Japanese nakeds. But numbers only tell half the story. This machine is handcrafted, built by a single technician from start to finish. Every VR6 is built to order using top-shelf components, WP suspension, Brembo brakes, and a graphite-lubed chain setup that cuts mess and maintenance. The styling, sleek, minimalist, and unmistakably German, designed by Peter Naumann himself. It doesn't shout, it whispers class, then drops the hammer at 155 miles per hour. Starting around 40 grand, it's not cheap, but you're not just buying a bike. You're buying a statement, an engineering flex, a piece of rolling RT that'll leave even gold wings and K-bikes in the dust. And just when you thought German engineering couldn't get more exclusive, think again. Because if the Horex is a modern masterpiece, the machine coming up next is a wartime relic that defied time, outlived its enemies, and still humbles collectors with its mechanical genius. Number 12, Zundab K800. Before World War II, before the Japanese bike boom, there was the Zundab K800. Built between 1933 and 1938, this German machine wasn't just ahead of its time, it was decades ahead, and it still turns heads 80 years later. The K800 was powered by an air-cooled, horizontally opposed 4-cylinder boxer engine, clocking in at 804 cubic centimeters and around 26 horsepower. It topped out near 77 miles per hour, but it wasn't speed that made it legendary. It was engineering. With shaft drive, a 4-speed hand-shift gearbox, and full unit construction, the K800 laid the groundwork for features Japanese manufacturers wouldn't popularize until the 70s. Think of it as the Gold Wings granddaddy, only tougher. The design? Pressed steel frame, Art Deco curves, just over 425 pounds dry, making it surprisingly nimble. And it wasn't just stylish, it was durable. So durable, in fact, the German army adopted it for sidecar duty. Only about 7,500 were ever built, and many still run today. Clean examples can sell for up to $49,000 at auction. Why? Because the K800 isn't just rare, it's legendary. It showed the world how refined German engineering could be. But not all legends wear tuxedos. Some show up in track leathers, buzzing like hornets and punching way above their weight. What came after the war wasn't polished, it was pissed off, and it came to win. Number 11, MZRE 125 and MZGP 2-strokes. Before the Japanese cracked the code on 2-stroke dominance, MZ wrote the book. These East German underdogs didn't just race with giants, they beat them. And it all started with one man, Walter Kayden. In the 1950s, Kayden's work on the MZRE 125 changed motorcycle racing forever. He pushed a humble 125 cubic centimeter single to over 200 horsepower per liter, using expansion chambers and science. The Japanese would later reverse engineer and adopt. Between 1955 and 1976, MZ racked up 13 Grand Prix wins and over 100 podiums. That's legacy. But it didn't stop at the track. The street versions, legendary for reliability. Lightweight, air-cooled, and built like tanks, these two-strokes just keep going. With basic pre-mix oil, a kickstarter, and a bulletproof gearbox, riders report 50-plus years of daily use with minimal repairs. Best part? They're still affordable. Well-kept MZs can be found for under $3,000. Try finding a Japanese rival with that much history and that much life left. Lightweight, simple, proven. These bikes weren't just brilliant, they were brilliant for everyone. You know, if you're already feeling the buzz from these bikes, imagine what's still coming up. We're just getting started. So if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe now, because every rider deserves to know what's really out there, and we've got plenty more to share. The brilliance of MZ was that it made world-class engineering feel local, something anyone could kickstart and ride into history. But not every German legend was built for the everyman, because while MZ was winning on grit and simplicity, another force was brewing across the border, one that wasn't interested in staying modest. What came next didn't just break tradition, it shattered it, wrapped the pieces in fiberglass, and launched itself into the future. Number 10, BMW K1. The BMW K1 wasn't just bold, it was BMW flipping the script. Dropping in the late 1980s, this was no chrome-clad cruiser or soft sport tour. It was a bright red, wedge-shaped statement, aimed right at Japan's high-speed heavyweights. Under the skin, a 987 cubic centimeter inline four, pushing 100 horsepower and 74 pound-feet of torque. Top speed, 149 miles per hour. 0 to 60 in just over 3 seconds. Serious numbers. But here's the twist. It wasn't chasing speed alone, it was chasing the future. The K1 was wind tunnel tested to perfection, with a full-body fairing that sliced the air with a drag coefficient of just 0.34. That wasn't just impressive, it was record-breaking. Add in Bosch fuel injection, an optional anti-lock braking system years ahead of the curve, and BMW's paralever suspension to tame shaft drive quirks, and you had a bike that felt planted, poised, and shockingly advanced. Comfort all day, handling surprisingly sharp, reliability, pure Bavarian engineering. The K1 didn't outgun Japan, it outsmarted it. Today it's a cult classic, still turning heads, still defying expectations, and proof that sometimes the future wears a cape. The K1 was BMW at its most experimental, all fairings, flair, and futuristic thinking. But not every rider wanted a machine that looked like it belonged in a museum. Some wanted the heart of a performance bike without the disguise, raw, exposed, and brutally honest. And BMW listened, because years later they came back, not with another sleek dream machine, but with a street fighter that didn't care about looking polite. It didn't whisper innovation, it growled it. Number 9, BMW K1300R. The BMW K1300R was a beast hiding in plain sight. A forgotten monster that didn't just go fast, it meant it. Launched in 2009 and retired by 2015, this naked bruiser didn't follow trends. It bulldozed them. At its core, a 1,293 cubic centimeter inline four, throwing down a savage 173 horsepower and over 100 pound-feet of torque. It surged like a freight train, smoother than most, fiercer than many. The quick shifter and slipper clutch delivered seamless shifts, while the shaft drive kept things clean, simple, and fuss-free, something chain-driven Japanese rivals couldn't match. And then came the tech: electronic suspension adjustment, dual-channel ABS, dual-lever front end for ironclad stability under pressure. The result, a ride that felt like a predator, calm when cruising, lethal when pushed. Riders say it's the best all-rounder they've ever owned. Town easy, twisties sharp, Autobahn made for it. It was luxury muscle, and it still is. Today, it is climbing the modern classic ladder, and fast. Because once you ride one, you realize Japan built missiles, but Germany built a war hammer. The K1300R didn't ask for attention, it demanded it. Through sheer power, unmistakable presence, and a no-nonsense riding experience that still gives Japanese hypernates a run for their money. But not every rider wants raw muscle packed into a minimalist frame. Some want their adrenaline with a touch more comfort, a little more wind protection, a bit more grand tourer than urban warrior. And that's where BMW decided to raise the stakes. Because coming up next is a machine that keeps the speed, sharpens the tech, and adds a whole new layer of long-distance luxury. Number 8. BMW K1600 GT/GTL. If German engineering ever had a mic drop moment, the BMW K1600 GT and GTL were it. These aren't just tours, they're luxury land missiles, packing more tech than most cars in a ride that redefines comfort. At the heart sits a 1,649 cubic centimeter inline six-cylinder, one of the smoothest engines ever bolted to a bike. With 160 horsepower and 133 pound-feet of torque, it pulls like a locomotive. From low-end grunt to high-speed cruising, it never breaks a sweat, even with a passenger, full luggage, and a mountain to climb. But it's the experience that shocks people. Dynamic ESA, adaptive LED cornering lights, reverse gear, heated grips and seats, a 10-inch full-color TFT screen, and an audio system that actually sounds good at highway speeds. The duo-lever and paralever suspension soak up bumps while keeping the bike stable, even at Autobahn pace. Fuel economy, surprisingly solid, over 250 miles on a tank. Handling, composed. Ride quality, cloud-like. Compared to Japanese rivals like the Honda Goldwing, the K1600 brings more edge, more tech, and a soundtrack to match. This isn't touring, it's touring with dominance. Sure, the K1600 is a masterpiece, a luxury liner on two wheels with a six-cylinder heart and every gadget under the sun. It's the kind of bike that makes you feel like royalty as you chew up miles. But here's the twist. Not every great motorcycle needs to make a grand entrance. Some just sneak up on you. They're leaner, quicker, and way more eager to play in real-world traffic without sacrificing comfort or confidence. And that's exactly what makes the following German machine such a standout. It may not be the biggest on this list, but it might be the most surprisingly capable. Number 7. BMW F900XR. Some bikes earn respect, others demand it. The BMW F900XR doesn't just show up, it shows up the competition. Sharp, versatile, and packed with tech, it's a modern German machine that hits harder than many Japanese rivals. At its heart, an 895cc parallel twin, pushing out 105 horsepower and 68 pound-feet of torque. That smooth mid-range punch with bulletproof reliability, wrapped in a chassis that wants to carve. The 2025 update adds lighter wheels, fully adjustable suspension, and adaptive headlight pro, all standard. It's German engineering with purpose. Need comfort? The F900XR brings it. Dynamic traction control, ABS Pro, heated grips, adjustable windscreen, USB-C charging, even optional dynamic ESA for plush touring control. It's a road warrior with manners. But here's the kicker. Value. Starting under $12,000, it undercuts Japanese and European rivals without cutting corners. In real-world tests, it clocks 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, tops 125 miles per hour, and still manages over 55 miles per gallon. That's agility, speed, and efficiency in one sleek package. With updated styling and premium fit and finish, the F900XR doesn't just ride well, it looks like it should cost more. It's not just surprisingly good, it's shockingly so. The F900XR plays by its own rules. Sleek, smart, and laser-focused on road performance. It's the kind of bike that makes every mile smoother, faster, and more fun than it has any right to be. But what if the road ends? What if your ride takes you beyond pavement, into the wild, where traction is scarce and reliability means everything? And for those rides, there's a different kind of tool. Leaner, tougher, and built to thrive where the map turns brown. Number 6. BMW F800GS. Think of the F800GS as the surprise hit of 2025. It's not just a lighter GS, it's a refined, capable, shockingly well-rounded machine that gives even Japan's best ADV bikes a serious headache. Under the tank, the same 895cc parallel twin found in the F900GS, just tuned for buttery smooth mid-range. That means 87 horsepower, 67 pound-feet of torque, and a top speed brushing 118 miles per hour. Smooth, responsive, and ready to pull, even when fully loaded. But where it really pulls ahead is tech. Standard gear includes a crisp 6.5-inch TFT display, ABS Pro, dynamic traction control, ride modes, USB-C charging, and heated grips. Add optional dynamic ESA suspension, and this midweight suddenly feels full spec. Riding position, spot on. Wide bars, intuitive ergonomics, and a confidence-inspiring chassis give it an edge on highways, trails, or tight curves. Riders say it's all-day comfortable, and it actually means it. Starting just above $10,000, it offers premium hardware without premium pricing. Even fully loaded, it undercuts many rivals. And with classic GS styling, bold color choices, and BMW's 3-year 36,000-mile warranty, it brings German prestige most Japanese brands can't touch. This isn't entry level, it's ready for anything. The F800 GS gets so much right, it's balanced, versatile, and packed with tech that makes long miles feel short. But for some riders, especially those less focused on dirt and more drawn to the feel of the ride, the equation shifts. Comfort isn't just about rider aids or suspension. It's about connection, simplicity, and soul. And that's where another machine from BMW steps in, with a completely different take on what it means to feel at home in the saddle. Number 5. BMW R9T. Some bikes look retro, others live it. The BMW R9T family doesn't just nod to the past, it brings heritage roaring into the present. With boxer growl, custom-ready styling, and shocking real-world performance that rivals the best Japan has to offer. Every version, from the classic Roadster and rugged urban G/S to the sleek option 719, packs BMW's iconic 1,170cc air and oil-cooled boxer twin. It pumps out 109 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque, with a top speed north of 135 miles per hour. Power? Instant. Delivery? Addictive. But the real beauty lies in the variety. Few bikes offer this much personality. Scrambler, Cafe Racer, Roadster. Each variant rides differently and can be endlessly customized. Exhausts, seats, bars, wheels, even paint. It's your story to write. Tech, locked and loaded. ABS Pro, dynamic traction control, ride modes, cruise, heated grips, TFT dash, and tire pressure monitoring. The R9T matches or beats many Japanese bikes on features. Build quality, flawless. Machined engine covers, sculpted alloy tanks, classic colorways. Every detail screams craftsmanship. And with a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, the value speaks for itself. Classic soul, modern brawn, undeniably German. As a piece of design, the R9T is near flawless. Every weld is deliberate, every line sculpted with purpose. It's not just built, it's composed. A rolling tribute to everything tactile and timeless about motorcycling. But not every ride is about romance. When the pavement gets rough, the speed climbs high, or the stakes get sharper, the R9T starts to reveal its limits. There comes a point where craftsmanship needs to give way to cutting-edge capability. And that's exactly where the next step in this list begins to take over. Because for riders who want total control at any speed, who demand razor-sharp feedback, race-grade electronics, and a platform that doesn't flinch under pressure, this next machine delivers a level of confidence the R9T simply isn't built to match. Number 4. BMW S1000RR. This isn't just Germany's answer to Japan's leader bike dominance. It's a full-blown mic drop. The BMW S1000RR isn't trying to keep up. It's sprinting ahead, dragging the rulebook behind it. At the heart, a 999cc inline-4, spitting out up to 210 horsepower at a screaming 13,750 RPM, thanks to shift cam wizardry and race-grade internals. That's more power than a YZF R1 or even a Hayabusa, and it delivers it with surgical throttle precision. But this isn't just raw numbers. This bike thinks. With cornering ABS, launch control, slide assist, and track focus pro modes, the electronics suite is NASA-level smart. For 2025, BMW even added bigger aero winglets for over 50 pounds of downforce at speed, keeping it glued to the tarmac when lesser bikes twitch and wander. And then there's the value. Starting around $19,000, you're getting a 6.5-inch TFT dash, quick shifter, adjustable suspension, Bluetooth, and the M package options, all wrapped in a design that looks like it woke up angry. Forget stereotypes. The S1000RR isn't good for a German bike. It's one of the most complete superbikes ever made. Full stop. There's no denying it. The S1000RR pushes every limit. But how often do you actually ride at 13,000 RPM? How often do you need 100 pounds of downforce? When real-world comfort, long-range capability, and refined power start to matter more than a lap times, it's time to reach for something that delivers without demanding. Because sometimes mastering the road isn't about the fastest lap. It's about commanding every mile with ease and authority. Number 3, BMW K800. If you told someone in the 1980s that the K800 would make a comeback in 2025, they'd probably laugh, choke on their schnitzel, and say, not a chance. But here it is, leaner, faster, smarter, and ready to go toe-to-toe with the best bikes Japan can build. Back then, the K800 shocked everyone with a liquid-cooled inline-4. That was revolutionary. Now, it's packing 140 horsepower in a flat inline-4 that pulls like a freight train from idle to redline. And this ain't just a nostalgia piece. BMW stuffed it with dynamic suspension, ride modes, traction control, a slick quick shifter, and that signature dual-lever front end that feels like it's reading your mind in the corners. Comfort? Still king. Plush seat, upright stance, hill start assist, heated grips, and saddlebags you could live out of. This thing eats miles and asks for seconds. And the build? Pure German stubbornness. Tire pressure monitors, Brembo brakes with cornering ABS, and a gearbox so smooth it makes butter feel gritty. All that for around $18,800. It's not cheap, but it is a bargain when you realize what you're getting. This is BMW's answer to modern touring, and it just might be better than the question. The K800 offers serious power and touring comfort for those who want it all in one package. Yet for riders who dream of breaking free from the asphalt, swapping highways for dirt trails, and embracing a more raw, authentic experience, there's a machine that answers that call, and it's waiting just up the list. Number 2, BMW R80G or 80S. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't just a motorcycle. This is the Adam and Eve of adventure riding. Before the R80G or S dropped in 1980, dual sport meant compromise. Then BMW shows up with a 797.5cc air-cooled boxer, long travel suspension, and a chassis that could crawl across the Alps or cruise the Autobahn, all in one ride. And the world took notice. Dakar wins, multiple. While Japanese bikes were stuck in the mud, the G/S was slamming podiums in the Paris-Dakar Rally, proving its mettle in the world's harshest sandbox. It had brains too. Monolever rear suspension, Nikasol cylinders, electronic ignition, and a shaft drive so simple you could pull the wheel off with basic tools in the middle of nowhere. And despite the rugged build, it was smooth on the street. 50 horsepower, 50 Newton meters of torque, 50 miles per gallon, and comfort that still embarrasses modern bikes. Today, these things go for 15 grand and up, and they're still climbing. You can't say that about any Japanese dual sport from the 80s. The R80G or 80S didn't just survive history, it made it. The R80G and S laid the foundation for what adventure riding really means. Rugged, reliable, and ready for anything. It's the kind of bike that carved its name into history, proving toughness on the toughest terrain. But if you think that's as far as BMW could go, think again. Because the crown jewel that follows isn't just an evolution, it's a revolution. More power, more tech, and a ride so refined it redefines what an adventure bike can be today. Now for the true icon of adventure riding. Known for its power, versatility, and unmatched touring comfort, this bike sets the standard for long-distance exploration. At number 1, the BMW R1250GS. This is it. The BMW R1250GS isn't just good, it's the bike that Japanese ADV machines have been chasing for years. Why? Because the GS does it all and does it for life. Owners report over 150,000 miles with nothing but regular oil, filters, and valve checks, made easy by that exposed boxer layout. Valve service, simple. Shaft drive, no chain hassle. And clutch life, often 50 to 100,000 miles. This thing is built for the long haul. Fuel economy, just under 50 miles per gallon. Tank size, over 5 gallons. That's 250 miles before you even think about stopping. And with dynamic suspension, heated grips, cruise control, and ergonomic design, the GS is as comfortable as it is capable. New prices start around 18 to 22 grand, but they hold value like crazy. Riders trust the GS, and that keeps demand strong. And let's be honest, every Japanese brand builds against the GS. Spoked wheels, crash protection, tech-loaded dashes. BMW did it first and still does it better. This is the gold standard, the ADV machine of ADV machines. Not just shockingly good, but practically untouchable. This is German engineering at full throttle. That's our countdown, but don't let it end here. We've got a video waiting just for you on the screen, diving even deeper into these incredible machines. Click it, subscribe, and stay connected, because with us, you're always first in line for the best rides, the real stories, and the gear that changes the game.